But the thing is, and this comes down to Heinlein's dictum, it's all underpinned by force. Women would be the ones responsible for imposing order if they were the stronger.
Yes.
It's just the way it is.
Yep. But it isn't, so we have to live within our means.
Exactly, we just have to live with it.
So then she adds the Industrial Revolution into the long continuity of mythology. You can see where this is going, can't you?
No, I have no idea, actually. Go on.
Well, okay, so she says, creation has often been imagined as a marriage of RE and water. Hot humidity gives birth to living beings. The sun is the spouse of the sea. Sun and fire are male divinities, and the sea is one of the most universally widespread maternal symbols. Inert, water submits to the flamboyant rays that fertilize it. Likewise, the still earth, furrowed by the labourer's toil, receives the seeds in its rows, but its role is necessary. It is the soil that nourishes the seed, shelters it, and provides its substance. Man thus continued to worship fertility goddesses even once Mother Nature was dethroned.
Sure.
So she is accusing, later on, of the Industrial Revolution inverting man's relationship with the soil as one of deference to circumventing the power of maternal mythological significance. So you see the modern environmentalist narrative
I could see
burgeoning out of that.
But the argument that the commitment to industry, rather than being like natural people who live close to the land, I can see the argument from a mythological standpoint there.
Yes.
It's not ridiculous.
No, but then the accusatory aspect that then gets packaged in with Greta Thunberg saying the Industrial Revolution is the original sin of Great Britain. All right, Ted Kaczynski. Is that we have dispensed entirely with with the femininity of the natural world, but then
kind of.
But then she fails to recognize that if you do associate the natural world with Mother Gaia, then the pre-settlement of the natural world was itself the dangerous, chaotic part, which you're accusing men of arbitrarily making up.
Yes, and then all of the mythological overlay actually, and if you consent to all of this, then it basically drills back to, yes, women are biologically essential in the capacity of reproduction.
Yeah.
And because all of your mythology here that you're building this conclusion off is founded on that and presumes it. And so it's like, okay, well, I agree.
Yeah.
But then now you're back to my patriarchal view.
Yeah.
And all of this feminist nonsense you've just admitted is wrong.
Yeah, but remember, there's no biological difference between the sexes, Carl.
Exactly. Then why did we have these myths at all, Simone?
Yeah, so then she gets down to how do we go from here? What must be done, right?
Oh, yeah,
and she says because of this lineage of biological oppression, of social inequality, of cultural and mythological indoctrination, all feminism before her is just controlled opposition.
I mean, that might well be true, to be honest. That might well be true.
Men always held women's lot in their hands, and they did not decide on it based on her interest. Well, women seemed pretty happy. It is their own needs.
Imagine thinking that the decisions that I, as a husband and father, make on a daily basis have nothing to do with my wife's interests.
Yes, but I, as a polygamous spinster with a horrible face, know what's in your best interest.
Et cette décision de ne pas, s'il y a eu une, je ne sais pas, est-ce qu'il y a eu une décision de ne pas avoir un enfant ou c'est venu tout naturellement? Pour vous,
moi,
vous deux.
C'est venu tout naturellement. Non pas que je répugnais a priori l'idée d'avoir des enfants, puisque quand j'étais très très jeune et que je pensais à faire un mariage bourgeois avec mon cousin Jacques, ça impliquait des enfants. Mais ma relation avec Sartre était telle que tout de même sur une base plus intellectuelle que précisément institutionnelle, familiale ou quoi que ce soit, que je n'ai jamais éprouvé le désir d'avoir un enfant. Et ça, je l'ai expliqué d'ailleurs. J'avais pas tellement envie d'avoir une reproduction de Sartre, moi, il me suffisait. Et j'avais pas envie non plus d'avoir une reproduction de moi-même, je me suffisais.
It is in their own projects, fears, and needs that are counted. When they revered the mother goddess, it is because nature frightened them. And as soon as the bronze tool enabled us to assert themselves against nature, they instituted patriarchy. Henceforth, it was the family-state conflict that has defined women's status. It is the attitude of the Christian before God, the world, and his own flesh that is reflected in the condition he assigned to her. It is the social regime founded on private property that brought about the married woman's wardship, and it is the technical revolution realized by men that enfranchised today's women. It is an evolution of the masculine ethic that led to the decrease in family size by birth control and partially freed women from the servitude of motherhood. Feminism itself has never been an autonomous movement. It was partially an instrument in the hands of politicians and partially an epiphenomenon reflecting a deeper social drama. Never did women form a separate caste, and in reality, they never sought to play a role in history as a sex. When they intervened in world affairs, it was in concert with men and from a masculine point of view.
sounds like she's saying that civilization is 4D chess by women to free themselves of childbirth.
That is eventually what she says, yes. But she's actually, I think, right here.
Yeah, I don't think that's wrong.
And
in a way.
I'm going to reference a horrible history song of all things.
Go on.
Because they once tried to do a emboldening propaganda piece
Yeah.
on the benefits of women's suffrage. And I'm sure we'll be able to play the clip. Throughout the song, the suffragettes do all sorts of nonsensical things like chain themselves to the gates of Parliament, throw themselves in front of a horse. They neglect to mention the post-box bombings, of course, because that looks really bad. And at one point, when she throws herself in front of a horse, the line is, became a famous martyr, how did men react? And the guy who ends up giving them enfranchisement says, we can't give women votes if they're so stupid they'll do that.
Became a famous martyr, how did men react?
We can't give women votes if they're so stupid they'll do that.
And eventually, when they win the vote, the final line of the song before the ending chorus is, okay, ladies, you were right. They had to convince the men to enfranchise them.
Yeah.
So men are the spearheads being nagged into progress in order to ensure women's condition is better. So yes, women may know what is best for them in some instances. I don't think Simone de Beauvoir does, but it is men that terraform the world on their behalf.
Yes.
And that is why we work in concert for women to guide men's strength, which is physically superior, unless you fancy denying biology at some point in your book, in order to go towards the life cultivating and protecting rather than demolishing and tyrannizing. And she's right about that there.
Yeah, I think she is.
And then she just says, let's have an entire break from men and go our own way.
Wigtow.
I wonder how effective it'll be. So her solution is obviously the abolition of the family and gender communism.
Yes.
Right. The family is not a closed community, notwithstanding its separateness. It establishes relations with other social units. It is essentially the woman who will organize this social life. The man is connected to the community as producer and citizen by ties of organic solidarity based on the division of labor. The couple is a social person, defined by the family, class, milieu, and race to which it belongs, attached by ties of mechanical solidarity to groups similarly socially similar to themselves. The woman is the one most likely to embody this most purely.
This sounds like a great idea.
That could have been written by a conservative.
Yeah, that's a great point and a great idea. We should protect that
Yeah, but
and nurture it.
unfortunately, it's a case of know thy enemy in order to subvert it.
This is the obstacle that's in the way.
Yes, because she sees it, again, having denied biology completely arbitrarily after an entire chapter on biology and how it's oppression, she then says, the fact that we recognize it as a social institution means we can extricate and demolish it, and if we pull that building block out, the entire civilization crumbles down.
Deeply Gramscian.
Yes. So then there's a few disparate quotes here, like I did with the biology part, that I've had to intersperse, but I think it paints a very good picture. So she abides by Engels' theory of historical materialism to explain how the family is a patriarchal plot to obviously deprive women of their economic destiny they truly want.
Yeah, their independence.
Yeah. In the Stone Age, when the land belonged to all members of the clan, the rudimentary nature of the primitive spade and hoe limited agricultural possibilities. Feminine strength was at the level of the work needed just for gathering. In this primitive division of labour, the two sexes already constitute two classes in their way. There is equality between these classes. While the man hunts and fishes, the woman stays at home. With the discovery of copper, tins, bronze, and iron, and with the advent of the plough, agriculture expands its reach. Intensive labour is necessary to clear the forests and cultivate the fields. So man has recourse to the service of other men, reducing them to slavery. Private property appears. Master of slaves and land, man also becomes the proprietor of the woman. This is the great historical defeat of the female sex. So paternal right replaces maternal right. Transmission of property is from father to son and no longer from woman to her clan. This is the advent of the patriarchal family, founded on private property. In such a family, woman is oppressed. Woman is her husband's prey and his property.
Right. So
No.
return to monkey.
Yeah.
Is where. But the thing is, we know in the modern era that if women don't demand anything of men, men won't do anything.
Yep.
They will literally drink beer and play Xbox. And so if the Stone Age women were not demanding things of Stone Age men,
I'm hungry.
Stone Age men would still be in the caves.
Yep.
If men were like asexual and reproduce like amoebas, it would just be a world populated by stone cavemen.
But even if you attempted to reconstruct a commune, as we saw with Chaz and Charp and various Antifa chapters, the biological deniability that Beauvoir packages into her philosophy doesn't really play out, because there was a Vice documentary, I don't know if you saw it, where the men were going
In
out.
Antifa, yeah.
Yes, and they were throwing the petrol bombs.
And
The
the
women
were
were
making them
sitting
in the
at
kitchen,
home
yeah.
making the Molotovs.
Yeah. But the point that I'm making, though, is that women have demanded this. Women have demanded and demanded, and men have provided because they feel it's their obligation to provide. And now they've provided so much that she's saying, well, now we're slaves to men. It's like, what are you talking about? All we did is what you wanted.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.